Shalom. The war against Midian is complete. The plunder has been counted and consecrated. 12,000 went away. Not one was missing. Numbers 31 closed with gold laid at the tabernacle. And now, before Israel crosses the Yarden, two tribes come to Moshe with a request. The tribes of Reuven and Gad have very large numbers of livestock, and they see the land of Yaazer and Gilead east of the Yarden, and it is good land for livestock. So they come to Moshe and El'azar and the leaders of the congregation and said, the land the Creator struck down before the congregation of Israel, it is livestock land, and your servants have livestock. If we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a possession. Do not make us cross the Yarden. Moshe's response is immediate. He hears the spies' report. He hears Numbers 13 again. He hears the generation that refused the land and cost everyone 40 years. Okay, stay with me. Welcome to Torah Sax Studio. Torah study with saxophone worship, verse by verse through scripture. Numbers 32 is one of the most dramatically structured negotiation chapters in all of Bamidbar. It has four movements. The request of Reuven and Gad in verses 1 through 5, Moshe's fierce response and historical warning in verses 6 through 15, the counter-proposal and Moshe's conditions in verses 16 through to 32, and the settlement and the half-tribe of Menashe. Like and subscribe because Numbers 32 has a word for every person who has ever wanted to settle for something good, just short of the full inheritance of the Creator intended. Verse 1. The children of Reuben and the children of Gad had very large numbers in livestock. They saw the land of Yaazer and the land of Gilead, and indeed the place was a place for livestock. The land east of the Yarden was already taken in battle. Sihon's territory from Numbers 21. It is good terrain for herds. Reuben and Gad have large herds. The practical case is sound, but their request in verse 5, it contains a phrase that sets Moshe's response in motion. Do not make us cross the Yarden. Do not give us this land as an additional inheritance. Not let us also settle here while contributing to the conquest. Simply, do not make us cross. The request, as stated, looks like we want out of what the whole community is about to enter. We want to stop here on the east side while everyone else crosses over to face what Israel has been marching toward for 40 years. So let us observe. The land Reuben and Gad request is genuinely good. The text establishes this. It was already conquered. It is suited to their livestock. Their practical reasoning is not wrong. The problem is not the land itself. It is the posture of the request. Do not make us cross the Yarden is a request to be exempted from the mission that the whole community is about to complete. The land east of the Yarden is good, but it is not the inheritance. It is good land, stopping just short of the full thing. This pattern, something genuinely good that is not the full inheritance, appears through Bamidbar. The wilderness was not a bad place to stay permanently. It provided manna water from the rock, the tabernacle's presence. Baal Peor offered fellowship and belonging. The land east of the Yarden offers real pasture for real livestock. The problem in each case is not that the alternative is worthless. It is that the alternative is a substitute for the specific inheritance the Creator has designated, accepted before the full mission is complete. Numbers 32 opens with a principle that applies beyond tribal land allocation. There are generally good things that sit just short of the full inheritance of the Creator intents. A good thing that exempts you from the mission is still a substitute, no matter how practically reasonable it looks. Reuben and Gad's livestock argument was sound. Their timing, do not make us cross right before the entire community crosses, was the problem. Is there something good in your life right now that you are using to avoid crossing over into what the Creator actually assigned you? The land Reuben and Gad wanted was genuinely good, already conquered. suited for the livestock. The problem wasn't the land, it was the request. Do not make us cross. A good thing that exempts you from the mission is still a substitute. Number 32 says, good land just short of the inheritance is still short. Let's read on from verse 6. Verse 6, shall your brothers go to war while you sit here? 7 words. The entire moral weight of the request exposed in one question. The community is about to cross over and fight for the inheritance. These two tribes are asking to stay on this side while their brothers bleed for theirs. Why do you discourage the heart of the children of Israel from crossing over into the land which the Creator has given them? Moshe draws the direct line to Numbers 13 and 14. Your fathers did exactly this. I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land, and they went up to the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, and they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, so that they did not go into the land which the Creator had given them. Verse 10. The Creator's anger burned. He swore none of them who came up from Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land except Caleb ben Yefuneh and Yeshua ben Nun, because they followed the Creator fully. The Creator's anger burned against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generation that had done evil was gone. And here you are, risen up in your father's place, a brood of sinful men, to increase still more the fierce anger of the Creator against Israel. For if you turn away from following him, he will once again leave them in the wilderness, and you will destroy all this people. Moshe's response is not bureaucratic pushback on a land allocation request. It is a theological alarm. He hears, in the words of Reuven and Gad, the precise pattern of Numbers 13, a refusal to cross, framed in practical terms, that has the potential to discourage the whole community from completing the mission. The frame he uses, discourage the heart of the children of Israel, is the same language used for the 10 spies report in Numbers 13. Moshe is not reading the map, he is reading the pattern. The severity of Moshe's response, calling them a brood of sinful men, warning that they will destroy all these people, is proportional to what he knows the stakes to be. In Numbers 14, the people wept, the community rebelled, and 40 years were added to the wilderness sentence. A partial refusal to cross, even from 2 tribes, could trigger the same response from the rest of the people. Moshe has lived through the consequence of that pattern once. He will not let it repeat. Moshe's response in Numbers 32 establishes a principle about covenantal discouragement. The request of one part of the community to stop short of the mission can become the trigger for the whole community to stop. Your decision to settle for the good but short of the inheritance does not affect only you. The people watching your choices are reading your movement. When you stop short of crossing over, others read it as permission to do the same. Numbers 32:6 asks, whose heart are you discouraging with the position you are currently holding? Shall your brothers go to war while you sit there? Here? Moshe heard Numbers 13 in the request. He knew what happened when part of the community stopped short. The whole community wept and stayed in the wilderness 40 more years. Numbers 32 says, your decision to settle just short of the crossing doesn't only affect you. Others are reading your position. Now the counter proposal that changes the entire negotiation. Verse 16. Reuven and Gad come back from a clarification. They draw near to Moshe and say, we will build sheepfolds here for our livestock and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will be armed, ready to go before the children of Israel until we have brought them to their place. This is a completely different posture. Not exempt us from the crossing, but let us secure our families and livestock here. And then we will march at the front of Israel's army until every tribe receives its inheritance. We will not return to our homes until every person in Israel has received their portion. Moshe accepts with explicit conditions. Verses 20 through 22. If you If you will arm yourselves before the Creator for the war, and every armed man among you will cross the Yarden before the Creator up until he drives out his enemies and the land is subdued before the Creator, then afterward you may return, and this land shall be your possession before the Creator. The condition stated in reverse, but if you do not do so, behold, you have sinned against the Creator, and be sure your sin will find you out. Lotedao katam asher yimtza eshem. Your sin will find you out. One of the most widely known verses in all of Torah. The counter proposal of Reuven and Gad is not merely a compromise, it is a reorientation of the entire request. They began by asking to be exempted from the crossing. They ended by volunteering to march at the front. The shift from do not make us cross to we will go armed before all Israel until every man has his inheritance is one of the most complete reversals of posture in Bamidbar. Moshe's fierce response worked, not by forcing them across, but by making them see what the original request would have meant. Be sure your sin will find you out is not a general proverb in this context. It is a specific warning about a specific condition. If you make this commitment before the Creator and the community and then abandon your brothers before the land is fully taken, the sin of that abandonment will locate you. The verse is set as the negative condition to the positive promise of verse 22. The land will be yours if you keep the commitment. If you don't, the sin will find you. The counter-proposal of Reuven and Gad carries a principle about how to honor both a legitimate personal need and a communal obligation simultaneously. They did not abandon their livestock and children, they secured them, and then committed fully to the communal mission. The personal provision and the covenantal obligation were not in competition, they were sequenced. First the families, then the front lines, then the return. Is there a communal obligation in your life that you have avoided because you are protecting something personal? When the actual answer is to secure the personal provision first and then show up armed before your brothers. Reuven and Gad started with, do not make us cross. They ended with, we will march armed at the front of all Israel until every man has his inheritance. Numbers 32 says, the answer to a personal need and a communal obligation is not to choose one. Secure what is yours, then show up armed before your brothers. Now the formalization of the agreement and the inclusion of Menashe. I'm going to read on from verse 28. Moshe gives command to El'azar, Yehoshua, and the leaders of the father's house. It says, if the children of Gad and Reuben cross the Yarden with you armed before the Creator, and the land is subdued before you, then give them the land of Gilead as a possession. But if they do not cross over armed with you, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. The children of Gad and Reuben answer, what the Creator has said to your servants, so we will do. We will cross over armed before the Creator in the land of Canaan, and the possession of our inheritance shall remain with us on the side of the Yarden. Moshe gives to the children of Gad, the children of Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan. These tribes rebuilt the cities and renamed them. The half-tribe of Manasseh's entry here is significant. It appears without prior negotiation, as though already settled in principle. The chapter closes with a detailed list of cities and territories assigned to each tribe. The eastern settlement formalized. The phrase in verse 22, you shall be guiltless before the Creator and before Israel, establishes a dual accountability that runs through the entire Numbers 32 negotiation. The commitment Reuven and Gad make is not only before the Creator, it is before Israel, for the community who watch the negotiation and who will be watching the fulfillment. The condition as a human witness alongside the divine one. Both must be satisfied for the tribes to be declared guiltless. The inclusion of the after of Menashe without a preceding negotiation is one of the textual curiosities of Numbers 32. The chapter spends 27 verses on the Reuven and Gad negotiation and then adds Menashe in a single verse. The Torah does not explain Menashe's motivation or request. Their inclusion is simply given. What this establishes is that the Eastern settlement became a recognized option once the principle was settled. Others could join the arrangement that Reuven and Gad had negotiated. The dual accountability of Numbers 32:22, guiltless before the Creator and before Israel, establishes a principle about covenantal commitments made within a community. They have two dimensions of fulfillment. Your private relationship with the Creator about a commitment is real, but so is the community's standing witness to what you said. Numbers 32 does not allow Reuben and Gad to satisfy the Creator privately while quietly abandoning the community obligation. Both must be honored for the land to stand as theirs. You shall be guiltless before the Creator and before Israel. The commitment had two witnesses. The Creator heard it, the community saw it. Numbers 32 says, covenantal commitments made in community have two dimensions. You cannot be privately right with the Creator while publicly abandoning what you promised your brothers. All right, this is a very important chapter of Numbers. So let's wrap up this chapter right now. It's a chapter where a sound practical request almost repeated the disaster of Numbers 13, and where a fierce response produced one of the most complete reversals of posture in all of Bamidbar. All right, so 4 things in this chapter. Good land just short of the inheritance. The land Reuben and Gad requested was genuinely good, already conquered, suited to their needs. The problem was the posture. Do not make us cross. A good thing that exempts you from the mission is still a substitute for the full inheritance. Moshe heard Numbers 13. Shall your brothers go to war while you sit here? He knew what happened when part of the committee stopped short. Your decision to settle just short of the crossing affects everyone watching your position. Armed before your brothers until the end, they began asking to be exempted. They ended volunteering to march at the front. Secure what is yours. Then show up armed before your brothers until every person has their inheritance. Guiltless before the Creator and before Israel. The commitment had 2 witnesses. You cannot be privately right with the Creator while publicly abandoning what you promised the community. The question Numbers 32 leaves you with: is there something good you are using to avoid crossing over into what the Creator actually assigned to you? And whose art are you discouraging while you sit there? Thank you for walking through Numbers 32 with me. Like, share, subscribe to Torah Sax Studio. And do not miss Numbers 33. And this is the complete itinerary of the wilderness, every stopping place from Egypt to the plains of Moab, and what the Creator says about the land you are about to enter.